Hey guys, welcome back to 1776 or Bust. On the table you see a Klinger holster and you see the Walther PPS M2. Now this holster was actually given to me by Klinger holsters, so I will always tell you that up front. And they actually sent me another holster, which I'm going to show you in a moment, but I'm going to spend some time with this. Then I'm going to move to the other one, which is kind of new as well. And I have to say, Klinger right now is definitely putting up some different products, which I think is good for their brand. I will tell you, my history with Klinger goes back a couple of years. My first ever Kydex holster I ever bought was from this company, and it was for my CZP-01. I actually bought it in an FDE when they were originally making their Kydex holsters in colors. Since then, if you fast forward to the future, they actually stopped making the color Kydex and are now just making black. But for me, I still have those holsters. I actually have one from a PO1 and also one for a Shield if I ever get another one again. And those were my two original ones. Now, this holster you see right in front of you here is called their gripper holster. Now, obviously, you can see that it is probably going to be used for pocket carry, and you'd be absolutely correct in assuming that. Now, I personally, I don't really ever carry in my pocket a handgun. I've never tried it. I've never, thought about doing that. Normally, I'll carry one on my hip, maybe two, one on the left, one on the right, but never one in my pocket. So when Klinger approached me, and they did approach many other channels as well, they asked if we could do reviews on them. So I said, sure. I've actually spent a little time with this holster, and now I felt it was time to make the review. Now, I've had this for about a month, and I've been wearing it pretty much on and off for about a month. And I will tell you, I do like a lot of the features of it. There's probably one thing on here that I don't like, but I'll cover that at the end because, like I said, anytime I do a review, I'm going to try to be as honest as I can about the product. Now, in regards to the material, it's almost like this. I don't want to say it's such a huge or a very thick textured type of holster or something that's going to grip your pants really well. But I would tell you that it's also not like ice. It's not like a smooth where it's just going to come right out when you draw your gun. Now, I will tell you, getting practice in using a pocket holster, because again, it's my first time ever doing it, I did have to spend some time working on that. And that's, something that you might want to look at when you first go and pocket carry, especially if you have no experience with it. Me personally, I've never done it. So like I said, I did have to practice drawing and putting the gun. I got to the point where I can draw the gun. And obviously, if I pull my gun, I'm not going to necessarily worry about, trying to reholster it in my pocket. Instead, I would pull this out, reholster the gun, and then put this whole thing back in my pocket. Now, I will tell you, I've worn this with jeans. I've worn it with cargo shorts. I've actually even worn it with a pair of gym shorts. And I will tell you that for me, the other two pairs of shorts work. Gym shorts, definitely a no. And it's just because of the weight of the gun. And it's super, super obvious. There's something in your pocket, if you know what I mean. Now, in regards to wearing jeans or a pair of cargo shorts or even cargo pants for that matter, you'd have absolutely zero difficulty concealing this. For the most part, it looks like an oversized wallet once you put it in your pocket. So I think for the most part, no one will ever notice that it's a gun. Obviously, people who are a little bit more savvy with carrying guns would probably understand what it is, and it's not a wallet. Now, in regards to the interior of the holster, again, if you can see the interior, it's a nice smooth lining in there. So it's not going to do anything to hurt your gun if that's what you're worried about. It feels almost like a nice soft nylon on the inside. And, again, it's very comfortable to wear. It also has a little cushion piece right here where you can see the stitching and, of course, the Klinger holster little logo here. But, overall, it's a fairly nice holster. Now, in regards to how does it fit, when I was carrying this in my pocket, one of the things I was trying to see is if I could carry it with the extended base plate or the 7-round or the 8-round mag. Now, for me, I decided I wanted to go with as much concealability as possible in a pocket. So I went with the flat base plate. And I will tell you that that's sort of where I had a little bit of an issue with. If I carried the larger base plate, there would be zero issues. It's easy to get a good grip on the gun, obviously. But with this flat base plate, it made it a little bit more difficult, and I'll explain why. When you actually holster this, it's very nice. It's a nice fit, okay? And you can see that it goes in really, really well. There's no issues. Now, do you worry about retention? It retains it, but I don't think you're going to have to worry about that because, again, it is in your pocket. So unless you're doing cartwheels, I don't really think you'd have to worry about, losing the gun out of the holster. In regards to the trigger guard obviously is clearly covered. Again, as long as there's nothing trying to get into that trigger guard, you're not going to have an issue. But I will tell you, this material on the exterior and the interior is quite durable and it's quite thick. So I really, again, don't see an issue with that. Now, in regards to where my issue was with the handgun, or I should say with the holster, the biggest thing that I saw about this holster for me, and again, this is just based on what I've noticed, this may not be for everyone. The thing that I noticed was that it was very difficult for me to get a very good grip, because a lot of times what you have to realize is when you have this holster on, for example, I have the excess sights on the back. So you have a big shelf back there, and you can see that there's a pretty big shelf for the rear sight. However, you will notice that if you adjust it, and let's say you get a little flatter sight, let me see if I can do this really quick for you so you can see what I'm talking about. If you have a flatter rear sight, what the worry would be is that the gun will actually go even deeper into the holster. Now, some people might say that's not a big deal, but one of the things that I found that was a little bit annoying was the fact that when I went to go and grab the gun just to practice, I wasn't able to get where I needed to get in regards to being far enough, or high enough, I should say, on that actual trigger guard. So that was the only real complaint that I have. Do I think they could do something with it? Maybe make this cut in a little bit more, maybe size them, because this is one size fits all. So I think they could maybe do that. But other than that, guys, for the first pocket holster that I've ever owned, this is actually pretty good. It's extremely comfortable to wear. Again, I don't have really any issues carrying it, and I've carried it for about a month. And I've carried it in my upper pockets, and if I'm wearing cargo shorts, I've also tried it in my lower pocket of my cargo short, and I had no issues with that either. Again, the only thing I can tell you is that if you do decide to get this holster, you probably have to try to get that rear sight to catch onto the lip of the actual holster itself, so that it doesn't go deep enough, because when it goes a little deeper, you're not going to be able to get a good strong grip on that gun. However, with this holding it in place, and let me just try to right side that up. With this holding it in place, I'm actually able now to get a better grip on the handgun and to pull. So other than that, guys, pretty nice. I have no issues with it. I think it's carried really well. It hasn't expanded or stretched out to the point where it's, you're just falling out and very sloppy. So I think they did a really nice job. The stitching looks pretty good. Fit and finish seems pretty good, and it is pretty comfortable. So for my first real in-the-pocket holster, I think this is actually a pretty good one for people to own. It's got a little bit of a sticky back to it. So again, it's not going to go anywhere in your pocket. And in my opinion, it fits pretty well. And again, once you put your gun into the holster, and I'm trying to do this without looking at it, but once you put your gun into the holster, what you're going to notice also is that when it goes into your pocket, it almost forms a rectangle. So I think a lot of people might look at that as maybe a wallet, potentially a really large cell phone. But other than that, the concealability is definitely there. So that's one holster, and that's a new holster from Clinger called the Gripper holster. Again, I do like it, and I will keep it and keep using it. Now, the new one that's actually kind of exciting for me is a holster that I had owned one time before. And I'll just kind of show you the bag it came in. You'll notice that there's a bunch of pieces in here. And if you're not familiar, Clinger Holsters also has another holster called, I have to think about it. Oh, the No Print Wonder. I had to think about that for a second. And the No Print Wonder, guys, was a holster that I actually owned at one time with the XD Mod 2. And one of my older videos, I actually did a video review of it. And I actually liked it. It was very comfortable to wear. I had no issues with it. It held the gun very well. So for me, again, Clinger did a nice job with it. Now, eventually I sold the XD Mod 2, so I did sell the holster. And interestingly enough, when Clinger contacted me for the Gripper holster, I actually emailed them back, and I asked them if they'd be willing to send me their new No Print Wonder holster version 2 that they just started making. And they were really awesome enough to say yes. So I am very happy to show you guys this. Let me just get some of this out of here, some of the Kydex. This is their new version 2 No Print Wonder. And I know some people might say, well, wait, that looks just like the No Print Wonder #1. And you'd be correct. You still have the leather here. You still have the steel clip on the front, and also this piece of Kydex in the back with the steel clip on there. And the whole premise of that is to redistribute the weight evenly, have this kind of wrap around your side here, and then this gives you that extra, kind of that extra stability, so it actually will bring it tighter to your body. Now, in regards to this one, the difference between this and the version 1 is you'll notice you have 3 holes right here. And what those holes are for is for one of these clips. And I think this is actually a pretty cool little thing here, because you can actually set it where it's a flat cant, or you can actually cant it this way as well. So again, for me, I like canting my guns a little bit forward so I can get them a little bit easier. And you have that ability to do that. And one of the things that I like, especially for people who may not want to go out and spend money on 2 separate holsters, if you like the real wide footprint of one of these types of holsters, which a lot of the more, I guess you could say, hybrid type holsters have. Or if you want to go with more of a smaller footprint for a time, maybe to conceal a little bit lighter in lighter clothing, lighter summer months, that type of thing, then you would actually just remove these two pieces here and then put on this clip right there, and off you go. You have no issues with it. So for me, that's kind of a neat little thing. Now this is for a Gen 4 Glock 19. I haven't actually gotten the Glock 19 yet because, you know, in New York we have to wait about 42 years to get our guns. So in this case, I have the Glock 19, which you guys are all familiar with probably if you watch the channel. And you'll notice that, again, it'll fit. There shouldn't be any fitting issues. But here you get your little bit of resistance there, and then a very light click. So it's not that super, super tight popping click that you see in some other holsters. But I will tell you guys, the retention is there. And I will tell you also that the fit and finish is very nice. You can see as I grip that gun, I'm getting a very nice grip, and you can see the undercut here. They've left a little spot under here for the trigger guard as well. So from that perspective, guys, I have to say this is actually a pretty nifty looking holster. The molding looks real nice. You can see it's very, very, very nice. And once I get that Glock 17, I can't wait to have that and put this gun on. Because this holster, from my experience in my old one, is very comfortable to wear. Now again, drawing the gun, no issues with that. All of the work on the edges is nice and smooth, no issues with that. There was a couple, it's like a little bit of a Kydex on here and on here where they drilled the holes for where this goes. But you know what, a little sandpaper touched that up nicely, no issues with that. Again, even on the front here, it's a little, you know, I don't want to say sloppy, but you know, it's a little rough. But again, that's not anything I worry about because that's something that can be easily, you know, fixed and cleaned up. So no issues with that. Again, the fit of the gun, very nice, no issues. You can see you get a nice cover on your sight, nice cover or sweat guard here. So again, you won't have any issues with you know, any kind of body sweat or anything like that on your handgun. And I will tell you, you know, just from holding it in my hands, I will tell you that what I feel here is that this thing, it does do a very good job at redistributing the weight. Now, of course, the Glocks are not exactly the heaviest pistols on the market, but nonetheless, very nice stuff. And I really think it's good for Klinger to do that because they're really starting to broaden their products. And it's something that I was hoping they would do because I've been a fan of theirs for over probably 2 years now and haven't had any issues with any of their past holsters. You'll also notice this piece of leather here. This is a pretty nice thick piece of actual leather there. And I have to say it's actually nice and thick. And then eventually once that breaks in, that'll wrap right nicely around your body. Plus you get the resistance of the Kydex here to kind of keep it close to your body as well. So I think overall for the two holsters that Klinger was sending me, I am very pleased with both of them. Again, you know, for this one in the pocket, not a major deal. Maybe just kind of trim this out a little bit more, or just maybe size it differently. So like one type of gun would be a small medium, another type of gun might be a medium large, something like that. But overall, very comfortable, grips very well, and I have absolutely zero issues with this one. Now, this one I just received, so I haven't really test-driven it yet, so to speak. And once I get that Glock 17 coming in, I will definitely be wearing this and seeing how it carries. But again, I have some experience with it in the past. I will tell you, it looks like they did kind of upgrade their leather a little bit here. It looks a little bit thicker than the old one, and actually a little bit longer as well. This one here, it's got a nice little curvature of the Kydex in the back here. Let me see if I can get that for you. So you can see right there how it curves in. So that should give you a nice hold close to your body. So I hope you guys enjoy this. You know, definitely let me know what you think of these two holsters. Again, I'm really excited because I think Klinger really is, you know, starting to kind of, I guess you can say, rejuvenate their brand, so to speak, with these two great offerings. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask below. Again, if you have anything you want to add to it, what you like, what you don't like, please do that as well. Give a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, always subscribe. We always enjoy those numbers going up. And I hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe out there. And as always, freedom is never free.